2 days post-election, and it is also the 1 year anniversary of my grandfather's passing, which, if you've been following me, you know he was my person. I want to talk about him in the context of the 2024 election. 1 year ago, I was sitting on Grays Beach in Cape Cod, staring out across the marsh, and the only thing going through my mind was, how am I supposed to exist in a world where he doesn't? And accompanied with that was, I just need to survive. And in the beginning, that's all I did. I did the bare minimum that I needed to survive. Slowly but surely, I started to claw my way back. And as I survey the year, which has been one of the worst, but also one of the most transformative years of my life, I realized that I didn't just survive, I thrived. I went to therapy. I joined a jam band. I decided that my career goals with this little content creation thing were not silly and they deserve to be taken seriously. And so that's why on election night, when I went to bed and said, well, I'm numb, I'm done, I just can't pay attention. I'm just going to ignore this. When I tell you, I could hear my grandfather saying, "What's the matter with you?" He knew I was full of shit. And honestly, so did I. It was very hard to tell my children, specifically my older girls, that Donald Trump won. I thought back to how I felt the night prior and said, how can I live with no hope and do nothing to help? And then tell my daughters that we just have to keep working harder. How can I say there's no hope when they have a whole long life ahead of them? I'm going to read a little bit of what I wrote and then wrap it up. We enthusiastically toasted to Kamala Harris and her historic campaign, our state and local wins. We toasted to Grandpa, Norm, as the kids called him. The bubbles tickled with his particular brand of mischief, the sharp tang of the crisp, sparkling cider jolting us out of complacency. Recently, I told my therapist that I was so tired of being knocked down continuously. And she said, "Did you hear what you just said?" And I, of course, was like, "No." She goes, you stand up. You keep getting knocked back down, but you stand up again. Don't you dare start singing Chumbawamba. I can hear you. She was right, which is why I pay her. Yeah, we get back up. We might need assistance doing so. It might take time, but we get the hell up. We are going to improbably get back up because it is what we do. And if you can only just exist right now, do that. That's fine. Self-care is important, but when you're ready, there will be hands that will help pull you back up. And just know, Norm is cheering you on. He is. I miss him so much. But the way I know that talking about media literacy and being a pain in the sides of royal journalists is exactly the kind of mischief he would have appreciated. He really hated disinformation and the issues in news media. You could not play this man for a fool. Thanks for listening.